Good morning, everybody. Hi, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome back for the live Reiki sample session that's going to knock you all out and make you sleep. Some of you have seen the video that I posted yesterday, and I had to share that as soon as I got home. I came up here and literally just recorded the experience because it was something that proves an example that energy is just available. And when we put our mind out of it entirely, energy is available to help us create and perhaps maintain our wellness. Really glad to have you here. We'll talk for a little bit before we do the sample Reiki session to see who's joining us today. So in the house today, we've got Mary Louise and Lily and Wade, who is in Mexico. Everybody welcome Wade. And Rianne is here, which is wonderful. And Anne is here, Pepsi lady. And M. Fitz, who I think is Ms. Fitz, who was with us on our TikTok in earlier days. So welcome, everybody. And Rita's here today. Hi, Rita. Welcome, welcome. Happy to see you here. Fantastic. Today's proxy, guys, is a citrine. Citrine has my attention because I was having some kind of dizzy spells this morning, super simple but unexplained, which made me think about my blood sugar, which made me think about my pancreas, which made me think about my digestion, which made me think about my solar plexus. So I've chosen citrine because it's a lovely, gentle stone, but also it has my attention. So this is what my focal point will be, representing all of you in today's session. And Mary's here. Hi, Mary. Yeah, your mom needs it, I'm sure. I'm sure that she's not feeling fantastic. I'm very sorry to hear that. But she's included in the intention. Should her high self committee decide it's the best thing for her right now, then she will absorb exactly what she needs for this point in time. Okay? Despite what I think. And the video, anyway, that I started talking about earlier is something that also has to do with consent and intention, in that I went to the hospital with my friend. For those of you who haven't seen it, I'll do a quick brief here while we wait for the group to populate. Went to the hospital with my friend. She was having a variety of procedures. We knew we would be there for about 5 or 6 hours. It was very early morning when we got there. And I was just, I waited with her while she prepped for the procedures. And then when she went in, I just went down to the cafe, had a coffee, worked on my computer, blah, 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 went back upstairs and sat and kind of fell asleep in the waiting room, but not asleep because my hands were on my lap and I was in a Reiki mode of just simply being in the hospital. Now, a lot of people don't like being in the hospital. A lot of people get creeped out being in a hospital, or they feel the weight of illness in the hospital. I never have. In my entire life, anytime I've gone to the hospital, including working with patients in the oncology ward who were on their way out, they were transitioning, I've never felt the weight of awfulness, though I do feel the presence of energy in abundance. There's a lot going on energetically in a hospital. So I think that innately I go in and Mindy asked this question, I said, I puff myself out. I just make sure that my energy levels are really high and I own anything in my energetic sphere. It's mine. I own it. Let's be clear. It's my responsibility to decide if I'm going to interact with the energies around me, or if I'm going to not interact with them around me. And I choose not to interact with them around me when I'm in a hospital and there's just so much going on. When I'm in large crowds, I puff myself out. I make sure my energetic levels are high and I own the decision of whether I'm going to interact with the energies outside of me or not. Hospitals are a no. However, when we were done, I was upstairs. I picked her up, and we had to go back to a different part of the hospital to her doctor's office to have the debrief of what was found. And as we were sitting and waiting in the doctor's waiting room, there was five people there. And I never noticed it. And I was sitting sideways talking to my friend, and blah, 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 blah. And there's people around, and there's a sofa opposite us. But I'm facing this way. I'm not even aware of what they look like, who they are, anything. I'm just talking to her as she's a little bit nervous. So I'm just coaching her and guiding her. And at that point, I'd opened myself up to her, and just I kind of let my defenses down, and I just kind of was like, okay, I'm in good Mish mode now. This thing she was worried about is over, and now we're just in the debrief. Everything I feel is just going to be okay. And because I think I let myself open up a little bit, I was sitting there and my hands clicked on. Now, Lily, you said this has happened to you recently. This happens with Reiki, and it happens in Reiki level 1. It profoundly happens in Reiki level 2, where you're out and about and you don't even notice, but your hands click on because somebody's auric body, somebody's energy body is requesting assistance, and they see that you're resonating at a little bit higher level and they want to entrain up, which means you feel it. You notice it, especially in quiet spaces, movie theaters. This often happens in movie theaters. When you're out in public in a park and it's quiet. Places where you're not in a loud, noisy atmosphere, you notice it. So my hands started burning, like immediately, bang, go. And the back of my brow chakra was wailing as well. I was sweating down the back of my head, and I thought, whoa. And I looked at her and I said, can you feel this? And she put her hand over mine and she was like, yeah, I feel that. And she was like, what's going on? And I said, I don't know. Somebody in here is requesting assistance and they're entraining upward, using the Reiki energy that's available. And she said, that's interesting. And she said, who is it? And I said, I think it's someone over here sitting. I think it. And I looked and I said, I didn't point or gesture largely because he's right there, right? And I said, I think it's that guy. And she said, interesting. He's been staring at you for the last 5 minutes. So unconsciously, I mean, he's in a doctor's office. Lord knows what he's thinking or worried about, but he was just kind of zoning out. And I think I was in his, landscape. But I also think he knew something was up, but he didn't know what. And his attention was just simply drawn in to that energy. So that happens. And, up until the time we left, the office, we walked out the door and we started walking, and I noticed that everything was cooling down. So whether it was him or not, I have a feeling it was, but you also don't want to be awkward and you don't want to freak anyone out. My job here, I feel, is to make this seem like it's normal and just simply be available. And I don't pull my brain into it, and I don't try to send it. I don't try to judge it. I don't try to overthink it. If it's him, it's him. If it's not him, it's not him. It's somebody else. It's okay. So I can literally carry on the conversation and just let her know that if it's him, it's him. It's like, doesn't have anything to do with you and I and our interaction. It's just simply showing me that I consent. When people say you have to type it in here that you consent, it's a legal thing. It's a pleasantry. It's just a nice thing to say, do you want this? You've already chosen to show up at my live event. You're already chosen to be here. That's your consent. If you don't consent, you can go. I'm going to do what I do. But I also know that consent is not a need in energy therapy. This has nothing to do with your conscious mind. And that is a really good instance proving that point. It has nothing to do with what you actually say out your mouth or type in the chat box. This is where I really think it's important to make clear these distinctions. And I think that when people say type it in there, there's a bit of misinformation going on. And I just want to clear that up and make this as normal as I can, given the oddity of it all in our normal lives when people don't think about energy. I just kind of want to make it available for everybody and be honest. And so I'm going to drop it like I feel it, and consent doesn't matter. It's not up to you. It's up to your high self committee, up to mine, up to the connection, and up to what you need most, given what the universe has for you. Okay. It was a really cool story. Anyway, I tried to tell that story really short in the video. How do I raise my energy? What do? I meditate, I sit, and I do Reiki on myself. Years ago, I used to use the Celtic weave because I really felt the impact of it. And one of the Donna Eden exercises, Lily, that I think you know about. Donna Eden, for those of you who don't know, is an energy practitioner. She's the most abundantly joyful person on the planet. And her daughters are carrying on in her tradition. And if you look up Donna Eden, it's Eden. Then you'll find her stuff there. I used to do that. I don't need to do that anymore. I literally do Reiki. I talk to myself. So this is where my awareness training has brought me to a different level where anymore I don't need to rely on a method. It is a conscious decision on my part. And here's what I noted. I've actually thought about it this morning because my husband on the way out said it's National Weather Day or something. And he said, I'm going to talk about, you can look at the forecast or you can just expect spring. And that really hit me. And I thought, for years, I never expected spring. I'd look at the forecast and hunker down, or I would predict the worst. And, we would be going on a trip and plan A would be plan A. We would go do this, that, and the other. And I'd be like, well, what if this happens and we can't do this, that, and the other? I have to be prepared. And my husband's the kind of person who always said, we're smart people, we'll figure it out. What are you planning B, C, D, and E for? We got plan A. Let's just go with plan A. And if it doesn't work, trust ourselves that we're smart enough to work it out. And I thought, yeah, you know what? There we are. And we can. And intellectually, I know that. Energetically, emotionally, I was having a hard time with that. So this was many years ago. And I started the awareness training back then. I just simply made myself do it. That every time a plan would come up and I would buckle and brace and start to create plans B, C, D, and E, my husband would call me on it and say, you're doing that now. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right, I am. I make a conscious decision to say out loud to myself, yeah, you know what? We're smart. And I trust myself. I trust myself to work it out. And I let it go. But this has been active work for me. I've actively been trying to change that pattern of behavior that I have. And that pattern of behavior is entirely based on being terrified that something bad was going to happen. And plan A was never going to work. So we let go of that. We expect plan A to work out. And guess what? Plan A works out. Plan A works out fine. And when it doesn't, and we make a shift, I don't even notice that plan A isn't in its entirety anymore, that there was a wee shift, because I'm good with it, because I'm smart enough to deal with it. So this whole thing about me doing Reiki and everything, there's so many other components built into it. Awareness training, which is what I talk about here a lot, is being aware of your thoughts and then being aware of how they make you feel, what effect they have on you physiologically, be aware of it from an academic point of view. And then, you know what? You get to choose what you're going to feel about it and how you're going to think about it, and then what you're going to do about it. So this has been years in the making for me. So I actively decide when I'm going out, to get to the end answer for your question, Lily. I decide to look at the benefits of going instead of that, oh, there's going to be people there and I don't know them and nobody wants to talk about energy therapy and Reiki. Everybody's a lawyer or an ambassador or, the CEO of the European Imperial Bank or like these people. These are the ones that I have to go for. And I used to really shudder at it and I would try to escape these dinners. And I've noticed in the last year, I've stopped trying to escape the dinners. So we went to one and I decided I was just going to engage with the people who were there from an authentic point of me. And I wasn't going to tamp myself down. And I didn't. And everybody's a little stately. I am not. You guys know me. I literally talk like this everywhere I go. I'm kind of casual. I'm not formal. I wanted to wear jeans and a t-shirt, couldn't get away with that. So just a little bit and just was me. I just said, I'm going to be me. I'm going to talk the way I talk. I'm not going to put on stiff airs. I can't do that. And then as soon as I decided that I was okay, it went great. Had a great time. So it was literally, Lily, aside from the fact that, I do a wee bit of Reiki, but I do the Reiki every day anyway. I made a conscious decision to look at how great this event could be for me. And that's what I did. So Wade 2 is in the process of rediscovering the self. Yeah, it's knowing it's in there and unleashing it unapologetically. And if people can't handle that part of you, then when they were around you before, who were you with them? And did you feel comfortable that way? And if you felt you had to present yourself a certain way in front of them so they would accept you, it's tamping yourself down and serving their need, or maybe you're prescribing to them a thought they actually don't have. And when the authentic part of you steps forward unapologetically, and you're just going to drop it like you are, however you are, maybe that person's going to really like this new version of you. If they don't, if they don't resonate with this new version of you, you have to reconsider about why you're with them. That's hard. I've done this a number of times in my life. We keep changing countries every few years, and I'm on my 7th country now, and people come and go out of my lives. And when people don't know how to respond to me, or, just we don't energetically work together, I'm out. I don't waste my time. I have no ill feelings. It's not that I dislike them, just that we don't have a pleasurable impact with each other. That's okay. You can't have a pleasurable impact with every single human being because we have a personality and we have histories and attitudes and emotions that might clash. That's okay because they get to be as authentically them as I am me. So it's a process and it's a choice. Hi, Tina. Welcome. Good to see you here. Hi, Steph. You're having trouble believing in yourself. You oftentimes feel confused and unclear. I think, Steph, that's something that a lot of people feel and think. And, it takes a lifetime to create this attitude and emotion in you. And it's going to take practice and choice in making a shift if you want to make that shift. Sometimes it's really, really hard, but it starts with awareness, which is what we do here. So hang tight, come along for the ride. Let's practice your awareness. And when you start creating moments for awareness where you call yourself out on either something you've done or something you think or something you feel, and you go, oh, I noticed I just did that. I might have done that differently. Could you do it better? What does better mean? I want to lose that terminology. I could have handled it differently and felt, uplifted by the situation instead of now, by the situation. It's just practice. We'll all get there, Steph. Hi, Milan. Didn't know you were here. Welcome, welcome. You try every day. Don't overthink it. Just get up, and when you have an awareness point, thank yourself for having the awareness point and go, oh, I noticed it did that. Oh, I noticed that I'm doing this now. What a point of gratitude that you actually had one. This is raising your energy every single time you do it. In a lifetime of never having done it, this is a new opportunity for you to have that point of awareness. And then when you notice, you thank yourself for being involved in that. Very high energy there. Yeah, thanks, Tina. I'm going to say this loud and clear. This is my opinion, folks. You're here riding along with my opinion based on what's worked for me. And while I am a counselor and I'm a Reiki master teacher, please be aware that everybody gets to make their own decision in what they listen to and how they absorb that information. I'm glad it makes sense for you. It certainly makes sense for me, and it's worked for me. And this is why I'm sharing it. But I know that there's people popping in and out of here who listen to me and go, she's full of crap. Like, forget it, lady. And it's like, okay, that's fine. There are other people to talk to. There's other therapies to have out there. You don't have to have therapy if you don't want to have therapy. We all get to make these decisions in our lives ourselves about how we're going to be about it. So I appreciate that you guys get it and you understand where I'm going with it. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lily. I try to be authentic, and when I'm being weird, I'm going to call myself out on it in front of you guys, and then I'm going to have an awareness moment. I think that when someone who is a counselor or a teacher can demonstrate live exactly what they're teaching, exactly what they're talking about, it carries a weight with it that's so much more beneficial than just straight lecturing. And I'm not going to bring you crap. I mean, I'm not here to heal you. You're here to decide whether you want to be healed and in what way and for what reasons, and then allow the universe just to basically grab the reins from you and have you sit back and accept what's best for you, because our minds do get in the way. I am going to throw this up here, if you don't mind, so people can see your comment. When we're going through a biologic shift over the course of a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, however long it works for you people, that's something that's happening to you biologically. But here's where you can grab the reins. So you feel awful, you're in pain, there's some cramping, you don't want to go out because you're uncomfortable, you're exhausted, and you're angry, you're annoyed. People just annoy you, sounds annoy you, food annoys you, like pets annoy you, other people, everything annoys you, traffic annoys you. And you're in that annoying mode. Every time that you feel yourself being annoyed, say, I am annoyed. I'm annoyed right now. I am annoyed. Sit and say it and sit with the annoying part of you. Not the annoying part of you, but the annoyed part of you. Sit with it. Call yourself out on having that moment of annoyance. Stay there. Just say, I'm annoyed. Why am I annoyed? And then walk yourself through why you're annoyed. Well, he's chewing his food too loud. I'm annoyed by that sound. I'm annoyed by him chewing. Why can't he chew quiet? Well, what are you annoyed at? Are you annoyed that he's enjoying his food and you can't because you're cramping? Like, walk through it for a couple of minutes and spend some time there. When you do spend time there, it's kind of like you have to think of your emotions as little people. Stick with me on this one. They're little people with little attitudes. And when you talk to them and you let them express themselves to you and they tell you, I'm blah, 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 and they give you details, they let it out of themselves and they start to feel better because now they feel heard. You're listening to it. And when they start to feel heard, they start to be less annoying. And then you spend more time with it. And then the energy of that little annoyance person inside you shifts and they cease to be annoyance. Maybe it's just a little bit bothersome. Oh, I notice it now. Oh, he's true. Okay. And then all of a sudden you dive into your meal alongside them and the annoyance is gone. Maybe that's a good way to think about it. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Hi, Maggie. They've popped in as well. Nice to see you guys here. All right, let's do this. I am going to grab my citrine. I'm going to ask you guys to get comfortable. All right. Just letting my hands warm up. Oh, it's going already. So I've already locked and loaded my proxy today. For those of you who popped in later, I'm using a citrine. It had my attention this morning for a variety of reasons. So I'm just going to be using this as my focal point. And so Lily is going to join in raising the vibration for everybody here. All right. And it's Rita and Lily. And I'm not sure if Lorianne's in the background and if she'll be joining us as well. So everybody put your device down. Stop looking at me. Okay, and allow your body to find a place of comfort. And just breathe any way you need to. And you'll find comfort between your body and your breath. And we'll start with the Reiki principles. And we know that just for today, we are anger-free. And we know that just for today, we are worry-free. And we know that just for today, we are earnest. And we know with just for today. We are kind. And in this present moment, allowing our bodies and breath to find comfort in the way most suitable for you. We are grateful for choosing to be here for ourselves. Letting go of the need to control. And simply allowing our innate connection to universal life force energy to entrain upward, be enhanced, and become more efficient. In alignment with our highest good, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. At this point in time. Wherever your thoughts wander, it's okay. Notice the content. Observe the nature of the thought. And thank yourself for noticing. Which brings you back to the present moment. Wherever your mind wanders, Just notice the thoughts. Observe their details. And return to the present moment with gratitude for this awareness. In these moments of gratitude, you're allowing opportunity for your own energy to enhance and amplify. Leading you to higher vibrations and an opportunity to create and maintain your own wellness. And in these opportunities for gratitude, you elevate your own energies. And you can spend the day knowing you can be anger-free. And you are worry-free. And you are earnest. And you are kind. And in your awareness of every present moment, you feel the elevated energies that come with gratitude. For showing up for yourself. In this collective. For those of you who have been with me since the start of the session, it's been 11 minutes. And now's the time we allow the energy to continue with its intention for this present moment and your highest needs until it reaches a natural decline in momentum. For those of you who've fallen asleep, I know the energy will continue to do what it needs to do for your highest good. For those of you falling asleep, don't touch your device unless you want to power it down. And simply be aware of this moment of gratitude as you drift into sleep. Good night, Wade. 11:11 is a great time to fall asleep. For those of you who are new and awake still, I'd love to hear from you. And my regulars, I always love hearing from you. But if you are too tired and you are drifting, allow yourself to drift off, knowing this energy will continue to do what it needs to do for your highest good at this point in time, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I feel my hands very slowly coming to a decline in momentum. For those of you who are very awake, when you feel up to it, let me know how the session felt for you, or if you'd like to share any feedback with us. Cora felt tingling in her belly tonight. Upper belly, lower belly. Upper belly, solar plexus. Lower belly, digestive tract, is your sacral chakra. But again, don't overthink it. Just allow yourself to notice that there's assistance in that area for your highest need across those 4 quadrants. Just allow it to be what it is. Upper solar plexus. The energy today, says Lily, had an element of the wind, so weird. Kept thinking wind and a Statue of Liberty popped in your mind. That's never happened to you. And given that you're not American, you've never lived in the States, that's interesting, the imagery. It's something really kind of fun to think about going forward. Is there a message in it? Maybe. Do you need to have the message? No, but it's fun to ponder. The minute that becomes cumbersome to ponder, stop pondering it. Very cool. Wind. Wind is maybe indicative of possibility, potential, opportunity. Things come at us through the wind. And freedom, if that's the way that you think of the Statue of Liberty, a freedom aspect, freedom of opportunity. Oh, I could read a lot into this. Not that that's what it's going to mean for you, Lily. It's just that we can take these images that we get and read into them. When we read into them and we feel empowered by a message, then I'm going to suggest that that's probably the message you need to hang on to. When we read into something around us and we come out of it feeling gross, feeling like it's something that's going to attack us or it's awful, I'm going to say it's probably not the intended message. When we feel empowered by those thoughts, it is actually better for you to run with the empowerment thoughts because that keeps your energy up. And then, like I said before with the plan A thing, it allows you to just stay in plan A mode. That would be a really good way to say that. I think I might work on that. Plan A mode is just trust in yourself, trust that things are fine, trust that when things shift, you can roll with it. It's trust. Interesting. And Mary Louise felt a hug across her shoulders tonight, in addition to the usual stuff. Well, that's lovely. That's absolutely lovely. Did it feel comforting to you, Cora? And again, for those that are new, sitting quietly in the background, I'm sure that you have questions, or maybe you think this is bunk, but there's a reality to what we sense and what we feel when we sit quietly. And when we address that reality and we allow it to be what it is, there's an engagement that happens that shifts our mood, shifts our mind a little bit. And those shifts can be very powerful in our wellness, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And that spiritually aspect doesn't have to be all the woo feathers and bangles and, all of the, aliens and all that stuff. I mean, it can be, it doesn't have to be. Spirituality is just that understanding that you're a piece of energy. You're a bunch of pieces of energy that makes one form of energy that is out there in this world, which is energy, with people who are energy. That's just that feeling of connectedness. That's as basic as it needs to be thought of. So if you have a hard time dealing with people who are all woo-woo, strip all the woo out of it, stick with the one woo. It's just the fact that you are energy, our cells are made of energy, and that you're connected to all the other energies around you in some form or other. That's your spirituality. You're spiritual because you're human. When it becomes I'm going to pop this one up, Steph. When it becomes cumbersome to ponder, let it go. So that's so helpful to you right now. The overthinking thing can drive us down alleys of darkness and unwellness, but we get feeling like we're never going to understand. We get ourselves stymied when we overthink. If you can have an awareness point that you're overthinking something and you can say to yourself, I'm stepping back for a minute. I'm going to let this thought go. I don't need an answer right now. I'm just going to let it go. Catch yourself in an awareness moment there, and then be thankful that you caught yourself overthinking again. Some people get in that overthinking spiral. Sometimes that spiral goes downward. Then we just don't do ourselves any favors. I'm glad that was helpful for you, Steph. Wow, hang on a minute here, Milan. I've been sick since last Thursday, and both of your boys too. I'm sorry to hear that. But today I've had a raging headache from a sinus infection all day. Oh, sympathies. Tonight during the session, it completely dissipated and I can breathe again. Love that for you, Milan. I'm just going to let that be what it is and let you enjoy it. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to overtalk it. I'm very happy for you. All right, guys, I think it's almost bottom of the hour, and I think I'll let you go. And those of you who are falling asleep can do so. And remember, just embrace those awareness points. Talk to them clinically. Don't lean into the feelings. You can observe that it's making you have a certain emotion, or you can observe that it's producing a certain effect in your body. Don't get mad at it. Don't get freaked out by it. Just let it be what it is. Then go, I'm having an awareness moment. Cool. And then you'll smile going, I can do this. And your energy shifts. It can't not, because all of a sudden you're thankful and you're happy. That will make a shift for you. All right, guys. I will love you and leave you here. And those of you entering your daytime or your afternoons, if you happen to be living in Southeast Asia, have a great day. And those of you falling asleep, wake up into a great day and expect spring.